Hi, so we're going over present values. This is chapter 2. And what are present values? We're looking at essentially what is something that's worth now, a cash flow that's from the future, or what will a cash flow be worth in the future. So, and then we're going to look at some perpetuities and growing perpetuities. And perpetuities we're really only looking at because the equity valuation has a perpetuity in it. So we're going to review that as well. So a future value and present value, essentially what we're looking to see is this understanding of a present value. If something is coming in 5 years, you're going to get $1 million in 5 years. What is that worth right now? And to calculate that, we need to basically know the risk rate. That is really what it is. And we need to compound it annually and divide up by that number. So in terms of a future value, it's same thing but just going positive, which means if I invest $100 at a certain rate for a year, it's going to be 100 times 1 plus r to the 1. If it's 2 years, then 1 plus r to the 2. And this is how we look at future value. It's essentially an interest rate return that's compounded year over year, which is actually what the equity is like in a way. But the compounding can be very powerful after a very long period of time. And that's something we're going to look at. That's something we're going to look at. Now, with present values, we have to look at discount factor. And the discount factor is basically what do you discount by, and that is 1 over 1 plus r to the t, right? And that is what we're going to look at as examples as well. So something that's, for example, the 114.49 discounted by 2 years at a rate of 107 equals 100. So all that means is that if I have 114.49 coming in 2 years, and the risk rate of that cash flow is 7%, then it's actually worth 100 right now. And this is a specific thing. We're going to keep looking at this because this is really how the equity valuation work. And in this class, we're going to work on various, essentially an equity valuation of all the companies in the S&P 500. So this piece is important to understand academically. And this is what we're looking at, the present value of $100. Coming in at different rates years down the line, and you can see how if the rate is high down the line, you're almost looking at zero for a sum like that, and that speaks to the idea that whatever earnings come from companies in like 10-20 years are really fairly insignificant right now. Why? Because usually their risk rate is either 10% or 15%. So think of it as an equity. For your equity valuation, this piece is important because it really shows you the fact that we want to know what's happening in the next 10 years, and then it is important what's happening later down the line, but not as important. It's not as important. What's important is this piece now.